And come back.
Hey Super Crew, this
I know
is
we all
DC
need
Sun coming back to
change,
you.
but we need friends
Into
too.
the episode for Supergirl,
Oh, I'll be back.
Season 2, Episode 2. And
I will.
seems like Miss Grant's leaving. I don't, as far as logistics, it's probably too expensive to keep her on the show, but show-wise, it's kind of
Where are
sad.
you going? And are you going because of me?
Not far, and no, I'm doing this for me. I am the new cat. Well, not the new cat. She gave me her job while she's away.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, it's a big
Brother
step
gets a
up,
pay
right?
raise. Jimmy Olsen's taking over Cat Grant's position temporarily during her leave of absence, which is kind of cool. He gets a he gets pay raise. He'll be taking over for which seems like a good idea for him because he needs to do something other than just follow behind Kara for her doing things out on the street, unless they do mix it up where he is taking over Cat Grant's position, but he also tends to follow her so he can get some of those neat shots and things out in the field to help kind of move the story on for his character as well as hers, but also to kind of back up her character becoming a reporter.
Wait. I don't like you, and I never will, Ponytail.
I don't need you to like me, jerk guy.
Jerk guy.
You're as bad at insults as you are at reporting.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Come back tomorrow. Maybe I can teach you something.
Nice. Give her a chance. Bitch should ask for a chair or something.
Do I get a chair?
No.
What is that? I co-wrote this episode.
There it is, all the kryptonite on Earth encased in lead. I trust you'll do the right thing, Superman.
Nice,
Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
Gonna miss you, Win. Nope.
One needs a
Next
hug.
time, let's
That's sweet.
let's really hang out.
Yes. Alex,
I like how they did that.
I'll
Where
do everything I can to find
when
Jeremiah.
it's still that
Promise.
very
Thank you.
innocent
Oh,
go-to guy,
But
and
what's that
doesn't
mean?
change, and it's like you
There's
see even
not really a word for it in your
More,
language. I guess the closest
adorable
thing would be
side to his character around
to be
Superman.
continued.
Nice. Little Kryptonian thrown in there to be continued. I hope so.
Love you too, Cal.
Now Superman's taking the case of kryptonite and flying it out of there. More than likely locking it up somewhere at the Fortress of Solitude. That was fast. It was really fast. He's landed in Metropolis. He texts Kara back, "I miss you too." That's so sweet. Or I miss you, excuse me.
Oh. Yes, Mr. White. Yes, I'm back.
My Perry's calling.
No, sir, I won't ever be gone that long again. Oh, gosh, no, Mr. White.
Unless there's a
I would
natural
never imply that
crisis.
you'd miss me. I'll have that article for you in a jiffy. A jiffy is a unit of measurement, sir?
I'd say he's playing it pretty well. Oh, hold on. It's like the last.
I know what it's like to be a stranger on this
36
planet.
minutes or so.
So when you wake up, I'll be here for you. So you never know what it's like to be alone.
The hell? Yeah. Okay. What was that? So it's what? So at the end of this, it seems pretty much like I want to call him Mon-El. I'm trying to stay away from social media and figuring out who he really is, but I'm going to stick with Mon-El. So for now, we'll call him Mon-El. He's woken up. He has just put, a chokehold onto Kara, so I'm not too happy about that. Hopefully she breaks his hand and, you know, it grows back or fixes itself eventually, but whatever. Yeah, so this episode, let's get to it. This episode had a lot of ups and downs. It's felt like a very emotional episode. There was a lot of emotional ties, drop-offs, tie-ups, let goes, a little bit of a mix of emotion, if you will, throughout the entire episode. You know, the rift between Superman and Martian Manhunter. And then you had the tension between Kara and her sister, to you know, Superman and Supergirl really coming together, melding as a family, working well together as a team, which is really cool. And you know, the people that were around them kind of getting a little bit, not just jealous, but feeling somewhat left out. You know, it's kind of hard for them to understand everything that they're going through because they're not, you know, from the same culture, but they do have a lot of tragedy and things that has happened in their lives that they can relate to in some instances. And you know, specifically Martian Manhunter, you know, he's also a man without a world, so he has been through a lot, and you know, he has trust issues just like Superman has trust issues. So I like that they addressed that, and at the end of the episode they've gone ahead and somewhat clean that up, and it's like, hey, look, you don't really trust me, I don't really trust you because you don't trust me for these reasons. So we agree to disagree. And then at the end of it, it ends up being one of those where, hey, look, I wasn't completely right, but hey, look, let's work together and trying to find a way to better ourselves as individuals as well as a team, because, well, it's going to come a time when we're going to have to rely on each other. So I'm glad that they squashed that beef and moved on. Kara and her sister, you know, Alex feeling somewhat left out. She's always going to feel like she doesn't fully measure up to her sister in cases where, well, she's a Kryptonian and Alex isn't, but Alex brings a lot to the table, and it's nice that they're playing around with that, with their dynamic, as well as giving Alex more story, more feedback, more action. Actually, I'm glad that they're utilizing her more in the story, because otherwise, you know, she's just standing around. And I'm glad they're not doing that with her. Dealing with Wynn, him being the new tech guy to build, you know, tech for Supergirl and Superman and anybody else or whoever needs it. I like that they're doing that, because every show has got that kind of person. You know, Arrow's got Cisco when he helps out, but for most cases he had, you know, companies he would lease out, but Felicity. Flash has got Cisco. So we've got our win for Supergirl, and I'm happy, because I think that'll also add a new dynamic to the show, instead of him just sitting behind a computer. Him being more proactive and doing something or building something to help out a story, situation, or character is really nice. Everybody has, you know, their allotted stations and things that they can do to help out the story and help progress their character as well as the team. So that's nice that they're utilizing everybody. Cat Grant leaving is kind of sad, because, you know, she was very charismatic. Her not being on the show, it could hurt it, it could help it, you know, depends on the fan. Some fans like her being there, some fans don't. I like her being there. She doesn't bother me. I like her being there because she is a completely different tone than everyone else in the show. So usually when you come across her character, there's some type of tonal shift or a character change somewhere in the show just after, you know, her spiel of whatever's going to happen during that episode. And I don't mean to say spiel like it's passive. I don't, because I think, you know, she does a great job for what she does on the show. Jimmy stepping up is great, because he's got some shoes he's got to fill. What I'm wondering is, how are they going to, spoiler, I did read an article about him portraying the character Guardian, and which leaves questions because if anyone is following Arrow, Diggle is also playing the same character, the Guardian. So how is that going to work? Are the worlds technically not going to cross over? Are they crossing over but there are separate universes? How is all that going to work? Not sure. Now, if they make Diggle a completely different character, I'm okay with that. That's cool. Me being a fan of the Green Lantern, John Stewart, huge fan of John Stewart. God, I'd love to portray that character. But anyways, if he ends up portraying that character or any form of that character on TV, that'd be awesome. Just because I like the actor, met him at the Comic-Con a couple of times, had a couple of drinks, and he's a really, really nice guy, just as a person. And then him being on the show, I like his character, I like his energy, I like how him and Oliver, his character and the character Oliver, it's kind of like a buddy cop. They go back and forth, and they work well together. And seeing them together more is something I'm hoping we get to see this season on Arrow. Back to Supergirl, anything that she has story-wise that crosses over into the other series is going to be interesting because you are dealing with, well, a super-powered being. And then you've got the Flash, also super-powered being. Powers are very different, but having them together has always been like a fun episode. When they had those two crossover before last season, I enjoyed it. So this season, they're definitely going to try and step up their game and add more to what's going on. So I'm really looking forward to that. This episode was very heartwarming. I'm backtracking a bit just because it came up again. I don't know, there was parts of it where the conversation between Kat and Kara when she was told that she couldn't be hired by the new boss. That conversation was really, really sad. Almost got me misty-eyed because, the way those two actors played off of each other, not just in the delivery of their lines and the acting, but the tone and the way that they did it. You could almost feel sorry for both of them because it's like, well, Kat's looking to branch out and leave, where Supergirl is finally coming into her own and trying to find herself, and the one person that she looks to for that as an anchor, especially when it comes to her work and social life, is Kat, and she's not going to be there. So now it's like, now what? So it's kind of interesting how they're playing that. I'd like to see where it goes. So for everyone that watched this episode, what did you think? What did you think of the Metallos? The Metallos, I thought was interesting how they played that since they had both Supergirl and Superman. They ended up making two of them. I liked how they portrayed the Metallos. What I thought was interesting is how the Kryptonians didn't necessarily get that. Well, they got weaker, but they didn't show too much like, oh, I'm walking towards kryptonite. Oh, I can feel it affecting me. They didn't do that, and they didn't overdo it. But when they were battling, it's like they still had their power, but they felt like they were somewhat drained as they're fighting. I like how they did that because it was something that was progressive as opposed to something that was immediate. So watching how they played that in the fight scenes was really interesting. Kryptonian part being slightly destroyed was really, really interesting and cool for people who like to see like the before and after, especially during a battle. That was cool. Hope they rebuild it, make one for Supergirl as well. One in each city, Twin Cities. They're not Twin Cities, but I'm calling them Twin Cities. But anyways, I thought it was cool. And it was nice to see how that played out. Maybe along the season we'll see a little bit more of from Superman's side, and then bring it back into Supergirl's side where we get introduced to Perry White, or the actor who's playing it, and we actually see Lois. That would be interesting, even if it's only a snippet within an episode. I'm happy. It's like, oh hey, that's what they look like, and those are the characters. Cool. All right, move on. Supergirl. What is it that you would like to see in this season? For me, the way they played this episode, I'd like to see more of that, where there's more of an emotional draw. It doesn't have to be a tearjerker, but more of an emotional investment in the characters as well as the story. This time, having the story really, really hit the audience was a really, really good move, because it wasn't focused solely on just big power hits and things like that, but it was more of the emotional side, the emotional hits that happened to each character as individuals, as well as the characters as a team and as a group. I really enjoyed that. So, hey, you know, CW, Supergirl, keep it up. You're doing a great job. So, Super Crew, what did you like about this episode? What did you not like about this episode? Please leave comments down at the bottom of the video. Question of the video: what character do you want to see this season? Villain or hero, doesn't matter. What character do you want to see and why? I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Super Crew, keep it super, and I will catch you later.